Help me hit 2,000 subscribers, I said into the camera with a half smile, trying to sound cheerful, trying to hide the exhaustion etched into my face. The red recording light glowed back at me like an unblinking eye, judging me, sensing something was off long before I dared admit it myself. I ended the stream, clicked off the lights, and walked out into the dim hallway, straight into the moment that would rewrite my entire life. It happened in a flash, but the sound carved itself into my memory forever. A whisper, sharp and venom-soft, slicing through the quiet. My wife leaning toward her friend Mira at our dining table, her voice low but not low enough. He doesn't realize I'm emptying his accounts. For a moment my brain simply refused to process it. The sentence floated in the air, absurd, wrong, impossible. My heart lurched violently against my ribs. I froze. Then Myra's eyes flicked up and landed on me. Her smile crumpled. My wife Lila didn't turn around at first. She kept speaking, oblivious or uncaring. He never checks the transfers. Then she saw Myra's expression. She turned. She saw me. And everything went still. The refrigerator hummed loudly. A car honked outside. A clock ticked. The world kept moving even though mine had just ruptured. Evan, she breathed, straightening in her chair, eyes widening with a guilt that felt almost rehearsed. What did you just say? My voice sounded foreign, flat, brittle, carved from ice. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened again. It's not what you think. That line. God. That cursed, predictable line. But my legs were trembling, and my throat felt scraped raw. I steadied myself on the wall. Then tell me, I said. Because it sounded exactly like betrayal. Mira stood abruptly. I should go. No, I snapped, sharper than I intended. You stay. Mira froze, torn between loyalty and fear. Lila exhaled hard, like she'd been caught in a small lie instead of a devastating one. It's complicated, Evan. Then uncomplicate it. She glanced at her friend, silent communication passing between them, and that made it worse. My wife had a secret life, a language I wasn't fluent in. Finally she spoke. It started small. I needed money for that art retreat last year, and you kept saying we needed to save for the future. So I moved some from the joint account, and it snowballed. My stomach twisted. Snowballed into what? How much? She didn't answer. Lila. Silence. How much? Her eyes glistened. Almost 30,000. Something broke inside me then, a quiet internal tearing. Not loud. Not explosive. Just final. But the betrayal didn't end there. Not even close. Mira shifted nervously, her hands clasped. Evan. It wasn't just about the money. A cold wave washed over me. My lungs tightened. Lila shot her a warning glare. Mira, don't. But some truths refuse to stay buried. I looked at Mira. Say it. Mira shook her head helplessly. She wasn't stealing for herself. Lila glared harder. Stop. But Myra's shoulders slumped in defeat. It was for Daniel. The name slapped me across the face. Daniel? Your coworker. My wife closed her eyes, guilty confirmation. My heart shriveled. So it is an affair. It's not. I didn't mean for it to. Evan, please. The excuses blurred together as she stammered. But something in me had gone quiet, detached, observing the moment like a scene from one of my own videos. My wife wasn't the villain I always feared losing. She wasn't the woman I fought to love. She was a stranger wearing her face. The room felt smaller. The air heavier. Like grief itself was pressing down on me. Why? I whispered. She looked up, tears streaking her cheeks. I don't know. I felt unseen and Daniel listened. He made me feel alive again. And the money, he wanted to start a business. He said he'd pay it back. The desperation in her voice was real. So was the selfishness, the cowardice, the human complexity of it all. You were going to drain everything, I murmured, and leave me with nothing. She swallowed. I wasn't going to leave you. But you were building a life behind my back. Her tears only made the truth harder, not softer. I turned to Mira. Why didn't you tell me? I tried, she whispered. But she begged me not to. That hurt too. Knowing someone else carried the truth of my life when I didn't. I walked past them into the living room, gripping the edge of the sofa to steady myself. My reflection in the window didn't look like me. It looked older. Broken. Lila followed, voice cracking. Evan, please talk to me. I didn't turn. Do you love him? Silence. Then a breath. Then. I don't know. My knees nearly buckled. Not yes. Not no. Just uncertainty, the cruelest answer. The kind that meant I wasn't enough. Or maybe I was just too late. I finally turned to her fully. You had a choice every single day, Lila. And every day you chose him. Her face twisted with agony. I was stupid. I was lost. But I still love you. Not enough. The truth settled over us like dust after an explosion. The twist. Mira stepped forward hesitantly. Evan, there's more. I closed my eyes. Of course there is. She took a shaky breath. Daniel isn't planning to stay with her. Lila's head snapped toward her. Mira. But Mira continued, voice trembling with guilt. He's been seeing someone else. He told me last week he was only using Lila for the money. Lila let out a strangled sound, shock, betrayal. The realization that she'd gambled everything for a man who never intended to keep her. Her face collapsed into her hands. And in that moment I felt, not satisfaction, not triumph, just a deep bone-heavy sadness. We were all broken in our own ways. All betrayed by someone. All guilty of something. But one truth rose above the wreckage. I couldn't save her. I couldn't save us. I walked to the door, opened it and stepped into the cold night. Behind me Lila sobbed, Mira whispered apologies, and the life I built cracked apart like thin glass. I didn't look back. Some betrayals don't leave room for forgiveness. Some endings write themselves. And some stories like this one are the reason people hit subscribe on my channel. Because heartbreak feels universal when spoken aloud. But this one wasn't narration. This one was mine.